Madhvi Jaitly, one of the student of Ivy. So today I'm going to discuss about the data structures in Python. And data structures in Python are list, dictionary, tuple, and set. So when I talk about data structures in Python, the first question that come into my mind is, why do we require them? So as we know, data plays a very important role in the field of data science. So we need to organize it, manage it, and store it. So all these three facilities are provided by data structures in Python. So that is why we require them. Now, let's move on to the practical learning of data structures using Python. So before moving towards the data structures in Python, let's quickly discuss about the basics of Python. So these are the following data types which are available in Python. And data types are basically the types of data which Python usually understands or deals with. So Python can understand the integer values. So basically integer is the positive or negative whole numbers without fraction or decimal. Example, -5, 0, 7, 110, and so on. And Python also understands the float values. And float numbers are the numbers with fraction or decimal. Example 5.8, 13.7, and so on. And it also deals with the string values. So basically the string is anything written in the single quotes or the double quotes. For example, here you can see this single character C is written in the single quotes. So it is the string. And also the multiple characters written in single quotes are also treated as the string. And here is the sentence that is written in double quotes. It will be also considered as a string. So here is one interesting thing about this sentence. So I have written this sentence here. So someone can ask that instead of double quotes, you can use single quotes too. So if I change the double quotes to single quotes, then what will I get on running this command? So when I running this command using control and enter, so I'm getting this error that is showing invalid syntax. So basically Python is confused here to take which single quotes, because in this sentence I'm having three single quotes. One is before hi, second is after let, and the last one is in the end of the sentence. So basically Python is considering only the quotes from this quote to this one. So the highlighted portion is hi, comma, let. So it is not considering the whole sentence as a string. So to rectify this problem, what I can do is I can simply change the single quotes to double quotes, and then when I run this statement, then I will be getting the whole sentence as a string. There is another way to rectify this problem. So instead of changing the double quotes, instead of changing the single quotes to double quotes, what we can do is we can put a backslash before this single quote. So this backslash is basically the escape character, and basically escape character is a character that invokes an alternative interpretation on subsequent characters in a character sequence. So like for new line we have backslash n, and for extra spaces we have tab, which is represented by backslash t. So here we are using that escape character to rectify the problem. So when I'm going to run this command, so I will be getting the desired output. So let me show you one more example using new line escape character. So here is the sentence, and I want hi in one line, and let's learn about data structures in the another line. So I can simply do enter to have the desired output. But when I'm going to run this command, then it will throw an error by saying end of line while scanning string literal. So Python don't take the unnecessary spaces. So how we can rectify this problem is using the escape character. So here I'm using a print function. So basically the work of the print function is whatever you pass in this print function will be printed as the output. So when I'm going to run this command, you will be getting the desired output as high in one line, and let's learn about the data structures in the another line. So that was all about the strings. So now let's next move on to the comments. So basically comments are for our readability. We can comment our codes, and through comments we can say that what is happening in our code. So basically by putting a hash before the statement, we can make that statement as a comment. So basically comments are the non-executable statements. That means compiler will execute the code but not the comments. So comments are for our readability purpose or understandability purpose. So in this code, what is happening? I am printing this statement using print function. So to justify this code, I have written a comment here, that is printing statement. What if I want a multiple comment, like this is a print function. If I am doing this, as you can see, the color is not changed. So this is not a comment yet. So to make it a comment, I need to put a hash before this statement. But imagine the situation where you have a paragraph or multiple lines to make it as a comment. So this will be not the convenient way to put hash before each and every statement, right? So what we can do is we can select the multiple lines which we want to make as a comment, and then I will be pressing single quote 3 times to make it as a comment. So now as you can see, the color is changed to red. So that means it has been converted into a comment, and when I will be executing it, I will be getting the desired result, but not the comments. Because comments are for our understandability purpose. You can also use double quotes instead of single quotes. So this was all about the comments. So now let's move further. Here I have declared a variable a which is storing an integer value 10. So variable in Python is a container that stores any value of any data type. Like a variable can store integer value, float value, string value, or etc. So let me run it. We know that this 10 is integer, but if we need to confirm it through Python, then we can confirm like using type function. So basically type is used to get a data type of the value passed to it. So here equal to sign is the assignment operator, not the equality operator. So it is assigning the value 10 to a. Let me write it here. Equal to is the assignment operator, and double equal to is the equality operator in Python. So next, moving on. Now here one question lies that if a variable is storing our values, right? So why do we require data structures to store our values? So here is the difference. A variable can store a single value. If I pass or if I will store multiple values in a variable, like I have here 2 comma 3. So I have two values here, 2 and 3, which I'm storing in a variable a. So when I'm going to run this command, then now it will be overwritten. Previously, the value of 10 was stored in a, but now the values are overwritten by 2 comma 3. Let me run this command too, and I will be getting 2 comma 3. But if I will be checking the type of the variable a, then I am surprised I am getting the value, or I'm getting tuple, which is our data structure. So the variable a has been now converted to a tuple, that is a data structure. So that is why we require data structure, because data structure can store multiple values and a variable can store only single value. So here is one example. I want to save heights of all the students present in my class. So how can I do it? I will be creating a variable that is a boy named Hari having a height 166 centimeter, Ram is having height 172, and so on. And now I'm going to define a list. For that, I will be giving a name, heights to the list, and then the assignment operator, and then I will be using square brackets. So for creating list, we will be using the square brackets, and in the square brackets, we will be giving the values that we want to store in the list. And finally, I will be printing my heights. So let's run it. So here is my list heights with the values. And these all are the integer values. So if now I'm going to check the type of the heights, I will be getting list as an output. So heights is the list. So moving on, the properties of list. As we know, list is a collection of values, as we have seen previously, and it can store any data type. Like previously it was storing values of like integers, but it can store float values also, it can store string values also, and so on. And this is the main point. The list can also contain different data types in same list. For example, here is this list. I'm again assigning, list name is heights, and I will be using square brackets to create the list. First value is Hari, and that is in the single quotes, and we know anything in the quotes is string. So this Hari is the string, and this Hari is the Hari defined previously, that is 176, which is the integer value. So as you can see, now this list heights is storing strings as well as integer values. So list can also contain different data types in the same list. So a list can also contain a list of lists. So basically here is a list height, and it is containing this small list which is having string value and the integer value, and similarly this is also the list, this is also the list, and this one is also a list. So basically the list height is containing these small lists. Let me run this. So now we have created a list of lists. We can also do this. Next we move on to the subsetting lists. So basically it is how we are going to access the elements of a list. So we have this list heights having these values, and I want to access this element Hari. So we can see this Hari is the first element of this list heights. But in Python, we can access these elements through their positions or their indexes. And in Python, indexes start from 0. So though this is the first element of list height, but its position or index will be 0. And similarly, 176 is the second element of the heights, but it will be having the position or index as 1. So if I want to access the first element, so I will be accessing it through writing the command heights square brackets, and in square brackets I will be writing its position or index, and that is 0. So I will get the hurry as an output. Now I want to access this element 176, that is second element of the list heights, and we know that we can access it through its position or index, and its position will be 0, 1. So its position will be 1. Let me run it and we will be getting 176. Now what if I want to access the element 168? So it will be like inconvenient for us to count from here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. But it's convenient to calculate from backwards, right? Because here the elements are less as compared to these elements. So, but keep in mind the indexing start from here is like from -1. If we are accessing the elements from behind, so the index will start from -1, -2 and -3. So to access this 168 element from behind, we need to write this command heights, and in square brackets we will be passing its position from behind, that is -3. So you will be getting 168 as the output. So next, moving on to the slicing and dicing. What if we want multiple elements of the list? So we can do using colon. So that is the syntax: list square brackets start colon end. So start is the, here it will start from this element and it will end on this element, but it will not include this element. Let me show you through example. So here is the list heights which is having these elements, and if I pass this in square brackets 3 colon 5, so let's see their indexes. Hari is having index 0, then 1, 2, 3. So it is saying that it is starting from 3. So it will include this element which is at index 3. So it will include this 172, and then fourth index element is Mahesh. It will also include this, and fifth index is 168. But since we know the end element is excluded, so it will give 172 and Mahesh only. See, so that means it will start from here and give the element as like n-1. So we are having n as 5 here, so we will be getting element 3 and 4. And in this, we haven't defined our end element. So end element position. So it will be starting from 3, and since we haven't defined our end elements position, so it will be giving the whole list after 3. So it will be giving 172 Mahesh, 168 Raju and 174. Similarly, if we start from -4, that is -1, -2, -3, -4. It is choosing from behind. So it is starting from -4, and since the end element position is not there, so it will be going to the end of the list. Let's see. Yeah, so it is giving Mahesh, 168 Raju and 174. Similarly, we can see for this one, now here starting position of the starting element is not given, so it will start from beginning. It will start from beginning and it will go up till n-1, and n is -4, right? So -4 is -1, -2, -3 and -4. n-1, that is before that. It will give before that. That is, it will give till 172. Since the end elements position or index is -4, so we will be getting n-1. That is -4 -1. That is -5. So till minus 5 we will be getting, that is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. So that is why we are getting Hari 176, Ram and 172 here. Next is, it is starting from minus 4, that is Mahesh, and it will be going till n minus 1, that is minus 1, minus 1, minus 2, that is till Raju. So we will be getting Mahesh 168 and Raju. So now moving on to the list manipulations. So we can change list elements, or we can add list elements, we can manipulating list elements. So we will be seeing here, I have list heights, and I want to change the 7th index element, that is 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 174. I need to change this 174 to 176. So how can I do is, I will be running this command, height square bracket 7 is equal to 176. So it will be now changed to 176. Similarly, I want to change 168 to 170. So I can run this command, that is heights minus 3 is equal to 170. So it will be changed. Let's see. So as you can see, 174 is changed to 176 and 168 is now changed to 170. Similarly, if we want to change multiple elements, then how can we do it? We can do it as heights 0 to 2. That means 0 and 1. So Hari and 176 will be changed to Rahi and 167. So it's done. Similarly, if we want to change the discrete elements, like previously here we were changing the continuous elements, that is heights 0 colon 2 will give the element at the position 0 and 1, that is Hari and 176. But what if I need to change the elements at index 0 to 4, that is 0 element, 2 element and 4th element to these values. So can I do it in this way? So if I'm going to run this statement, then I will be getting the error. So I can't do it in this way. The error is list indices must be integer or slices but not tuple. So let's rectify this problem. So we have previously seen that how to access the continuous elements, but if we want to access the discontinuous elements, like at index 0, 2 and 4 index, then we can do it as this. So we will be getting here. But observe one thing, that we are getting these elements as a tuple. How we know that it is a tuple? Because there are parentheses rather than square brackets. And we know for list, to denote list or to use list, we have square brackets for the list. So let's convert it into a list by putting square brackets. So now it has been converted to a list, and now we can change the corresponding elements as it is shown here, Q, W and R. That means the elements at 0, 2 and 4 position will now be changed to the values given. As you can see now, first element, that is Hari, is now changed by the value Q, and Ram is changed by W, and Mahesh is changed by R. So we can change the discontinuous elements as I shown here. So now next move on to the adding two lists. Adding two lists here means is appending two lists basically. So we have this heights now, and this is the list which is having one string value me and one integer value as 169. So let me run it. Let me run this too. So for the time being, this output of appending heights and this list is of no use, as I haven't stored this output in any variable or any list. So I can't use them further in any code or calculation. So in order to use them further, so we need to store them into a variable. So I am doing it here. I am creating another list called heights2 having string and int elements, and then I'm appending heights list and heights2 list and storing the output in heights3. Let me run it. So it's done. And now you can use this heights3 list, that is appended list of heights and heights2 further in any code or in any calculation you want to. So moving on to the list of lists or nested list. So basically you can have list as an element in list. So let me run it. I have created this subjects list which is having this small list Ram Finance as its 0th element, and then Raju Marketing as its 1th element, and so on. So when I am running this command subject square bracket 0, then I will be getting the very first element that is having index 0, that is Ram Finance. So further, if I want to access this finance, then how can I do it? I just need to run this code, that is subjects square bracket 0, and then out of this list I need to access 1th element. So that is why we will be putting again the square bracket and then writing 1 in it. So we will be accessing finance. Similarly, if I want to access like Mahesh, then I can run this command, that is subject square bracket 2 square bracket 0. So it will first choose 0, 1, 2, second index element of subjects, and out of this list then it will be choosing 0th element, that is Mahesh. So moving on to the built-in methods for class list. So basically methods are the actions that are taken by an object of a class. For instance, an object of a class car can take actions like drive, accelerate, stop, etc. So every built-in class in Python comes with few useful built-in methods. So let me create this list heights, and you can access the methods of a class by putting the name of a list dot, and then by pressing tab you can get the following methods. So you can append in a list, you can count the elements in the list, you can find index of any element in a list, and so on. So now I want to remove this element 2 from the list. So I will simply do by putting a name of a list and then dot and then writing remove 2. And when I am printing this, so I will be getting the output as 2 removed from the list. Similarly, now I want to remove 167 from the list. But now the question is, there are two 167 in the list. So will these both 167 will be removed, or like if one? So let's see. So as you can see, it has removed only 167, and that is this one. So remove will remove the first occurrence of the element you have mentioned in the function. So now if I want to remove this 167 also from the list, so I will be writing this command again, or I will be just running this command again, and you will be seeing that both the 167s are now removed. Moving on, so now I want to find the index of this element 173 in the list. So let me run it, and I will be getting 2 as the index. So now our list after the removal of the elements is this one, and in this list the index of 173 is 0, 1, 2. We can also check the number of times an element appearing in the list by writing heights.count and the element for which you need to check the count. I am checking the count of 173. So I will be getting 1 because 173 is occurring only one time in this list. Next is, we have previously seen that we can append to list using plus operator, but we can also append the list using append method. So I want to append this 180 to the list, so I can simply write heights.append and the element which I need to append to the list, that is 180. So as you can see, in this list 180 got appended. Now I want to reverse the list, so I will be simply writing heights.reverse and your list will be reversed now. There are some disadvantages of the list, like let me show you through the example. I have initialized two lists here. L1 is having 1, 2, 3 as the element and L2 is having 4, 5, 6 as its element. Let me run it. So now I want to perform the element wise addition. That is, I want the output as 1 plus 4 that is 5, 2 plus 5 that is 7, 3 plus 6 that is 9. So when I'm going to run this command, what I got is these two lists got appended. As we know already that plus operator is used to append list. So how can we then perform the element wise addition in the list? We will gonna see further. So let me do this operation, subtraction operation also. So when I am doing this, I will be getting this error, that is unsupported operand type for list. So that means element wise operations are not valid in list like this. So we need to put a loop to make the operations valid on list. So that is why now here I am creating the empty list L3 and I am putting a for loop that is for I in range of length of L1. So basically what length of L1 is doing, let me show you. By writing this, basically we get the number of elements in the list, and in L1 we are having 3 lists. And what the range function does is, range function basically starts from 0 to n minus 1 and here n is 3. So basically I will get value of 0, 1 and 2. And firstly, when I is getting a value of 0, then L1 0 we know that L1 0 is 1 and L2 0 is 4. So it is doing addition of these two, like 1 plus 4, and then it is putting in the list L3. And then again the loop will run, and then now value of I is incremented by 1. So I will take value of 1 and then L1 square bracket 1 will be 2 and L2 square bracket 1 will be 5. So 2 plus 5 will be 7 and now this X will be appended to list L3. The loop will go on till I takes the value of 2 and then it will stop and then finally it will print the final list L3. Let me run it. Yeah, so you got the output here as 579, which we desired. So to perform huge number of mathematical operations over a collection of data points at a very fast speed, we have numpy arrays, because this is like very tedious and long method to apply for loops for the element wise operation in list. So we have numpy arrays to our rescue. So let me show you. For that we need to import numpy package. So here I am importing that, and we have already created the list L1 and L2. So we are simply converting these lists to arrays using np.array and storing the values or in A1 like arrays. So lists are being converted to arrays now. Let me print it. So yeah, as you can see, A1, A2 are arrays and L2 is list. So you can see the difference here that in list elements are separated by comma, but in arrays they are not separated by commas. So it is the visual difference between arrays and list. So let me check the type of A1. It will give me numpy.nd array. So if now I perform the addition of elements by simply running this command, so I will be getting the output as 579. So as you can see, we got the our result in one code of line only. We don't need to run a loop. So it is much more convenient than applying for loops for list. Similarly, we can find the subtraction. So here is the result. So you will be seeing that we perform the whole mathematical operation in just one line of code without using any loops. So this is also known as vectorization or element-wise calculation. So we can achieve this using arrays. So let's move further. So I have this array A1. Let me access the elements, and the accessing of elements will be same as we have accessed in list. So A1 square bracket 1 will give you the first index element, that is 2. Similarly, when I run this, so I will be getting 0 and 1th index element, that is 1, 2. So there is also a different way of subsetting numpy arrays called Boolean masking. So for example, in the above array, that is A1, I need to find out those values which are greater than 1. So that is, I want 2 and 3. So how can I do it is, I will be declaring a new variable as A3 and assigning the values of A1 square bracket A1, those are greater than 1. Let me run it. And now I will be getting the array A3 as having elements greater than 1, that is 2 and 3. So there are some disadvantages of array too, such as numpy arrays cannot contain elements with different types. If you try to build such a list, some of the element types are changed to end up with a homogeneous list. This is known as type coercion. And the typical arithmetic operators, as you have seen above, like plus, minus, multiplication, and division, have a different meaning for regular Python list and numpy arrays. So now let's try to create a numpy array with different data types. So here I'm creating a list having different data types like float, string, and boolean, and then I'm passing this list to np.array to convert it into array. So let's run this. So as you can see now, this array has converted all the elements to string. It has converted float to string, was already a string, so it is here also a string, and boolean to also a string. So you have seen here that numpy arrays cannot contain elements with different data types. So basically there are types of numpy arrays, like we have 1D array, 2D array, and so on to ND arrays. So let's create a 2D array. We were previously working with only 1D array. So now we will be creating a 2D array, and you can do that by passing two lists or like two arrays to np.array. A1 and A2 are already our arrays, and I'm passing it to this. And when I'm running it, so you will be getting this array. So if I will be running this command, then I'm getting the result as 3. So it is accessing this element. Let's see how it is accessing this element. So firstly, it will be considering 0th element of this array. That is, for this array, 0th element is this, and 1th element is this. So it has first considered 0th element, and then out of this 0th element, it is choosing second index element, that is 0, 1, 2, this one element, 3. So that is how it is considering this. Let me run this too. So yeah, as you can see, first it will be considering the first index element, and then it will be considering 0th element of this. That is why we are getting 4 here. So similarly, you can check for the methods for class array by using this dot and tab. So you will be getting this. You can find maximum for a array or minimum. Let me show you one method, that is shape. If I'm going to run it, then I will be getting the shape of the array, that is 2, 3. That means it is having 2 rows and 3 columns. So yeah, that was all about the lists and array. So now we are going to move towards another data structure, that is dictionary. Before moving on to the data structure dictionary, let us quickly see that in which scenario list will be inconvenient for us, and hence we use dictionaries. So here is one example. I have names of the students and their heights. So I want to see that what is the height of student named Hari. So how can I achieve it using list is, I first need to find the index of Hari, and then I will be putting that index in list heights to get the height of Hari. So I am doing it here. Let me run it. And that is what I am doing here. I am getting index of Hari and storing it in the variable int underscore Hari, and then I will be passing this variable or the index to the list heights to get the height of Hari, and that is 168. So it is not so convenient for large scale data sets. So that is why we use dictionaries. So basically dictionary is a collection which is unordered, changeable and indexed. In Python, dictionaries are written with curly brackets and they have keys and value pair. So as you can see, I have used the previous example only to access the heights of the student. So I am creating dictionary persons and I am using curly braces, as we know that dictionaries use curly braces. So in this dictionary have key value pair. So key and value pair are written as this is key colon value. So that is how they are written. So now we have student and their height correspondingly written in the dictionary. So now if I want to access the height of, let's say, Ram, so I can just simply access it by putting the key in square brackets. So here will be the height of Ram. Now remember few points in the dictionary, as the keys are always unique in dictionary, but the values can repeat. So take care of this point. And now let's access the height of Rahim. So I just need to pass the key name inside the square brackets and your work will be done. So I have shown here, I have taken keys as 1, 2, C and 3. So keys may be of multiple data type and values too, but the keys are always unique in dictionary and values can repeat. So I have created this dictionary D1 and now I will be accessing the element, let's suppose having key as 2 and this is the element, B is the value and key and 2 is the key. Similarly, let's try to find out the output for this one. So here you can see the key C and key 3 both are having the same value D. So the values can repeat, but keys should be unique. So we can check the keys of the dictionary by writing this command, dictionary name dot keys. So you will be getting all the keys of the dictionary. And similarly, you can check the values of the dictionary. So here I am checking the values of dictionary D1. And here are the values A, B, D, D. So it will not give the unique values, it will give all the values. If the values are repeating also, it will give all the values. So next, moving on to the dictionary manipulations. So basically we can add new element, and we can update existing element, plus we can also remove an element. So let's see, I have created one dictionary of Europe having its states and capitals. Let me run it. So now if I want to add a new element to the dictionary, let's just suppose I want to add a state Italy and its capital Rome. So how can I do it? I simply need to write dictionary name, and in square bracket I simply need to give a key which I want to add and also its value, like I'm doing here. So you will be seeing that this new element will be added to the list in the will be added to the dictionary in the end. Similarly, I can add this element too. So you will be seeing this element Poland key with the value Warsaw has been added in the end of the dictionary. So now if you want to update any element, like if you have done any typo or any mistake in the data putting, so you can update it using this command. So you simply just need to pass the key inside the square bracket and give it the new value as I'm giving it here. So you will be seeing now, previously the value for Germany was Munich, but now it has been updated to Berlin. So you can update the elements in the dictionary. Plus, if I want to remove Norway, so how can I do it? I can just simply write delete function, and in that I just need to pass the dictionary with its key. So your work will be done. See, Norway has been removed in this dictionary. So next we move on to the nested dictionaries. So basically nested dictionary means you can have dictionary as an element inside the dictionary. So here I am defining the dictionary Europe, and it is having keys as Spain, France, Germany, Norway, and the keys are having values in the form of dictionary. So let me run it. So now if I want to select the data from the nested dictionary, we will be using chain square brackets as we were previously using in 2D arrays or nested lists. So if I want to access the Spain's population, then how can I do it? So I just simply need to pass in square brackets the key, that is Spain, and for Spain, let me show you quickly. If I will be only passing Spain, then I will be getting its value, that is the whole this dictionary, capital Madrid and population 46.77. But if I need to now access the population of the Spain, then how can I do it? I just need to call this key, and in this key I will be calling this key, population key. So I will be getting the population of Spain. So this is how you can access the elements from the nested dictionary. So dictionary have some disadvantages, and disadvantages are dictionaries are basically unordered. In cases where the order of the data is important, so Python dictionary will not be appropriate. And also Python dictionaries take up a lot of more space than other data structures. So the amount of space occupied increases drastically when there are many Python dictionary keys. So this was all about dictionaries. So let's move towards the other data structure called tuple. Tuple is an immutable sequence of Python objects. Immutable means that they are not changeable. That is, we can't modify or alter them. And also tuples can have value of different data types. And it has one advantage, that it consumes less memory than list and dictionary. So now let's see how we can define a tuple. So we will give a name, top1, at assignment operator, and then we will be defining tuple in parentheses. So we will be using parentheses, and in parentheses we will just be giving the values. So since we know that it can have value of different data types, so you can see tuple 1 is having string values as well as integer values, and tuple 2 is having all integer values, and tuple 3 is having all string values. But tuple 3 is not in parentheses, but it will be considered as a tuple. Let's see. Let me run the codes. Tuple 1 is here, tuple 2 is this one, and tuple 3 is this one. And if you wanted to show that is tube 3 is tuple or not, so we can just quickly check the type of this thing and we will be getting tuple. So there are two ways to define a tuple. One is the, you can use parentheses, and between parentheses you can write the elements, and the other way is not to use the parentheses, but it is suggested that you use parentheses only. So let's move further. So we can define a empty tuple, like in parentheses you can't upload any elements, or you can't take any elements, so it will be considered as a empty tuple. So now let's define a tuple having single element. So if I define like this, let me run this and let me print this T2, and now let me check this type of T2. I will be getting int. So this is not the way of defining a single element tuple. So we just need to put the comma, and I'm running the codes again. So now it has been converted into a tuple. So to define a single element tuple, we just need to put one element and comma after that. Now let's move forward to the accessing elements of a tuple. So I have this tuple tube1, and if I need to access the first element, so it is similar that we were using in list. So the way we have accessed the elements in list will be the same way we will be accessing the tuple elements. So tup10 is physics. Now I want to retrieve the elements chemistry and 1997. So I will be just passing this command. So now let's see how can we update the tuple. Since we know tuples are immutable, so let's see on running this code what we will get. So we will be getting an error saying tuple object does not support item assignment. So that means we can't assign any value, or like we can't change them, but we can append the tuple. So here I'm creating the new tuple, single element tuple t new, and then I will be appending tube1 and t new, and I will be putting the values in new tuple, that is t. Let me print it. So here is the tuple t. So you can now check the index for the elements. So I will be checking the index of 1997. So index is the method of class tuple, and you can check the another methods by typing t dot and then pressing tab. Let me show you quickly that what are the methods available for tuple. So there are very less methods, count and index. So you can count the occurrence of the element, or you can just check the index of the element. So now let's move on to the removing elements from tuple. So if I'm running this command, so it will again give the error that tuple object doesn't support item deletion, because we know that tuples are immutable in nature. Rather, we can just remove the whole tuple like this. But individual element deletion will not be possible. So now after deleting, so now after deleting, if I'm typing this, I will be getting error that it is not defined or it is not there. So there are certain disadvantages of tuples, that is you can't add an element, or you can't sort a tuple, or you can't delete an element or replace an element. So basically these are the certain disadvantages of tuple, but there are certain advantages of tuple too, that since it can't be unchanged, So since it can be changed, so we can use it where we want like secure data, where we don't want to change our data. So this was all about the tuple. So now let's move towards the last data structure, that is sets. Set is a collection of items not in any particular order. So here are few properties of sets, like the elements in the set cannot be duplicates, and the elements in the sets are immutable, that is they cannot be modified, but the set as a whole is mutable. And also there is no index attached to any element in a Python set. So they do not support any indexing or slicing operation. So now let's create a set. So there are two ways to create a set. Like I have created days set using set function, and in that function I am giving list as a argument, and list is having the values as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So you can either create a set using this way, or you can create simply using curly braces and passing your elements into that. So I have created 3 data sets. Let me run it. So here are the 3 sets. So now let's move on to the accessing elements of set. So here is the set days, and I cannot access the individual values in a set, but we can access all the elements together using for loop. Let me run it. So here are all the elements of the set. So if I want to add element or item to a set, then I can use this add method for class set, and we can add through this command. So as you can see now, Sunday is being added here. It is not added in the end of the set. So basically, since we know that no index is attached to any element of the set, so it can be added anywhere. It can add in the beginning, or it can add in the middle, or in the end, and so on. So now let's move on to the removing item from our set. So we can basically use this discard method to remove the item from our set. So I'm removing Sunday, and you can see here Sunday is being removed from the set days. So now there are some mathematical operations which are applied to the sets, like union of sets. So basically the union operation on 2 sets produces a new set containing all the distinct elements from both the sets. So you can see days A and days B are the 2 sets, and Monday, Tuesday are distinct elements which belongs to days A, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are distinct elements that belongs to days B. Only Wednesday is the same element, or is the common element in both the sets. And since we know that sets accepts no duplicate values, so Wednesday will be appearing one time along with the distinct elements corresponding to each set. So let me run it. So you will be seeing the set as Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Thursday, Wednesday and Friday. So next operation is the intersection of sets. So basically intersection operation on 2 sets produces a new set containing only the common elements from both the sets. So these 2 sets are having Wednesday as the common element. So Wednesday will be printed if I am running this. And for intersection, you can use this ampersand operator. Intersection is also known as AND. So that is why I am using this operator, and I am storing the result of intersection of these 2 sets in the variable all days. And previously for union, I have used this pipe operator, that is OR in Python. Union is also OR, and I am storing the result of union of these 2 sets in all days. Next, we move on to the difference of sets. So difference operation on 2 sets produce a new set containing only the elements from the first set and none from the second set. So as you can see here, only Monday and Tuesday are the elements that are present in days A and does not belong to days B. So the output should be Monday on Tuesday. So that is here. Now let's move on to the comparing of sets. So basically, it checks that if a given set is a subset or superset of the another set, and the result is in the form of true or false depending on the elements present in these sets. So here are two sets, and I am checking here that if days A is the subset of days B, and I'm checking here that if days B is a superset of days A. So let's see it. So both the answers are true. So that means days A is the subset of days B, as we can say here, see here, that is true. And similarly, days B is the superset of days A, which is also true. Now sets have some disadvantages. So basically, Python sets are highly useful to efficiently remove duplicate values from a collection like list, and to perform common mathematical operations like union and intersection that we have seen above. So let me show you that how we can remove duplicate values from a list. So here is the list I am defining, which is having duplicate values. And now to remove the duplicates, I am just simply changing my list to set and storing the values in nudup variable or set. So as you can see, the duplicate values have been removed now. And let me check the type of nudup. Now the list has been converted into set. Also, the set also have some disadvantages, like we can't access a set element using indexes, or we can't modify them using indexes. So this was all about the data structure sets. I hope you got the basic understanding of data structures in Python. Thank you for watching the video.